If you have not gone through tough times in your Christian life, soon you will. If you have not been confronted by tough people who challenge you face to face in your Christian life, soon you will. Jesus Christ, he went about doing good. The people didn't mind about the good he was doing. He healed the sick. He cleansed the lepers. He raised the dead. He cast out devils. But all those Pharisees, what concerned them about those miraculous works, were not concerned about that. He even opened the eyes of somebody that was born blind, and that fellow, they saw him. And he said, how did your eyes get open? He said, a man made clay, and then he put on my eyes and sent me to the Pool of Siloam, and I went there, I washed, I came seeing. They said, what's his name? Eventually they knew it was Jesus. They said, give glory to God, that man is a sinner. And the blind man, whose eyes were open, said, well, I can't argue with you. Sinner, not sinner. One thing I know, God heareth not sinners. If this man were a sinner, the Lord would not have heard him. They said, are you teaching us? They drove him out. That man, even as a young convert, he had tough times. He met tough people. You will meet tough people, and you will go through tough times. The evidence that you are born again, the evidence that you are saved, is that in those tough times, like Jesus Christ, you remain firm, you remain clear. Here is where I stand. They talk tough. Here is where I stand. And they plan tough. Here is where I stand. That's the character of Christ. And that is the character we ought to have as children of God. The inflexibility of Christ, even in tough times. In John chapter 8, reading from verse 28, then said Jesus unto them, when ye have lifted up the Son of Man, not that when you have exalted the Son of Man, what he meant is, I know you are going to crucify me. I know the tough time is going to come that you lift me up unto death, and I will die. But when you've done that, when you've done your works, and you lifted up the Son of Man, then shall ye know that I am he, and that I do nothing of myself, but as my Father has taught me, I speak these things. Oh, may every one of us have that grace, that even when the people who have the power to crucify, and they have the plan to crucify, that when they're before us, what we know as the truth, the way we live for the truth, we will still live for the truth and say, eventually, maybe you pretend you don't know now, eventually you will know that I am he, and I do nothing by myself, but I do everything as the Father has taught me. Verse 29. In verse 29, it says, and he that sent me is with me. The Father has not left me alone, for I do always those things that please him. Look at verse 30. In verse 30, as they speak these words, the people saw the sincerity, the transparency in what he said, and they saw through him his personality. He was not a person, a chameleon that will be here like this and there at another time. When you're in Rome, do what the Romans do, and when you are in another place, Babylon, do what the Babylonians did. No, he came from heaven and he showed the life of heaven. He was impartial. He was invariable. He was inflexible. And because people saw through, and they saw that transparency, they saw that honesty, and they saw that here is no pretense at all, many believed on him. I pray you will live a life that is believable. I said you will live a life that is believable. What a wonderful thing it will be if your unconverted wife will see your life. That, what you know in the Bible, you practice it at home. And because of that, the woman says, I'm going to believe. What a wonderful thing if your husband will see the life of Christ in you. Honest, and devoted and steadfast, transparent before the Lord, and your husband will say, the life of this woman convinces me that this thing they call salvation is true, and because of that they believe in you. What a wonderful thing if the teenagers you're teaching at school, they'll say the life of her teacher, the life of her mistress. Because of her life, we're going to believe in the Lord. In Hebrews chapter 13, we're looking at verse 8. Jesus Christ, the same yesterday and today and forever. Jesus Christ, the same yesterday, today, and forever. Any of the disciples could have said that before this was written, that yesterday when he went about doing good, and today as they arrest him, today as Judas betrayed him, today as they're going to hand him over to Pilate, is still the same as he was yesterday, so he is today. And Peter took out the sword and cut off the ear of Malchus, and today as Peter did that in defending him, he stooped down, took the ear and put it back. The same yesterday, today, and forever. In the day of trial, no anger. In the day of temptation, pressure, no anger, and there's no fighting. Thank you, Peter, that you did that. You should not only cut off the ear, cut off another part. No, because Jesus Christ, yesterday, when there was no problem, he was good. Today, when there is problem, he's good. And then after he died, he rose again. And by the time he rose, the people with Peter, they had gone a-fishing. And he went there. But all the same, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and forever, the same. Children, have ye any bread? No anger. No fighting, no kind of conflict. That's the way the Lord wants us to be. He will give us grace. He'll give you more grace, that in your tough times you'll be like Jesus.